Second top plays second bottom, and the relegation threatened Giants now they have to produce something special to end the Rhinos' 12-match unbeaten run. Good evening and welcome to Headingley, where Leeds take on Huddersfield. I'm Steve Kilgallen, your match commentator tonight, and alongside with news of the Leeds lineup for tonight's clash is my League Express and Total Rugby League colleague Phil Kaplan.
It's another big Friday night evening here at Headingley. The crowd slightly down on what you'd normally expect, but a big support for the Rhinos, and a big game for two of their youngsters in particular. Andy Speake on debut at hooker. Injuries to the two regular incumbents have given him his chance, and certainly for the Alliance this year, he's looked a very fine prospect. And on the bench, Dave Wrench as well. He'll be looking for his second appearance.
The big news for Huddersfield is that the Giants have suspended their Tongan World Cup star, Andrew Tangata Toa. He was arrested and bailed by Huddersfield police on Tuesday after an investigation into a road traffic accident in May. And Reilly also lacks two of his three squad ever presents this season. Australian standoff Craig Weston has suffered serious damage to ankle ligaments and could be out for the season. And top try scorer Jim Lenihan, who's touched down 10 times this year, is also absent with a trapped nerve in his neck. It means that prop forward Nick Fozzard is the only Giant to have appeared at some stage of every match in Huddersfield's dismal Super League season so far. It'll be Leeds to kick off, playing from right to left, Huddersfield to receive, and the referee for tonight is Steve Presley from Castleford. Iestyn Harris gets the match underway. Straight to Paul Reilly, and he's downed on his 20-metre line. The Leeds side line up today with Marcus Santana at full-back, Leroy Yvette, Marvin Golden, Brad Godden and Paul Sterling across the back, Iestyn Harris and Ryan Sheridan at half-back, Martin Masella in his second game back from injury and his first at home at prop, with Andy Speake at hooker on debut, and Barry McDermott on his return from a knee injury as the other prop. Anthony Farrell, Andy Hay and Mark Glanville make up the back row, and on the bench, Jamie Matthew, Francis Cummings, Adrian Morley and Dave Wrench. Huddersfield have kicked for touch, and it's beaten the chase of Leeds winger Leroy Yvette. Gone into touch back 15 metres from the Leeds line, and referee Presley signals the scrum down to the Rhinos. It's not a 40-20 kick. Huddersfield line up with Paul Reilly at full-back, Danny Arnold, Darren Simpson, Paul Loughlin and Andy Cheetham across the back. Adi Moore is in at standoff for the injured Weston, with Bobby Goulding at scrum half. Be a lot of pressure on him tonight. On the back in the front row, John Neal, Ryan Hudson and Nick Fozzard. And in the back row, Joe Berry, Basil Richards and Dave Borton. Referee just reformed the scrum for an incorrect feed. On the bench for Huddersfield, Jim Carlton, Dave King, Shane Byrne and Martin Gleeson. It's Sheridan to feed the scrum for Leeds. Straight out to Golden, and he's wrapped up by the Huddersfield forwards. Pulled down about 13 metres from his own try line. Here comes Glanville. Speaking at dummy half. Finds Andy Hay. There's three tacklers in there. It's Fozzard leading the way for the Giants. A lot of holding down. Referee Presley, well, he was looking for the other penalty and it was offside. He was a good 2 metres behind the Huddersfield forwards. I think Basil Richards probably the worst defender there. He's given Leeds good position to kick for touch. That's Harris. And it'll be Speake to take the tap. Speake again in at dummy half. He'll be under pressure tonight to come up with the goods. Lee Jackson and Terry Newton both out injured for the Rhinos, so it means a debut for the former Stanley Rangers player. This is Farrell. Richards is in for the tackle, joined by three other Giants, but Farrell's made it to 15 metres from the Giants line. Here's Sheridan. Finds Masella. Masella wanting a big game tonight, back in front of the Headingley supporters for the first time in a long time after a lot of injuries that plagued the Kiwis season. This is Andy Hay. It's the last tackle, but he's only a yard short. And Leeds will look to Harris. Harris kicks through, and Reilly forces it dead. So Leeds will get the drop out. Reilly didn't have much option there, with Harris bearing down him, despite Basil Richards trying to just obstruct the Leeds captain slightly. So it'll be Bobby Goulding to take the drop out for the Giants. He's found Sheridan. Sheridan's looking for a run. There's no one there for him, so he's going to take it up himself. Met by the Giants' defence. This is Speake, scooting from dummy half, but straight at Fozzard, and that's no problems for the former Leeds prop forward. This is Leroy Yvette. He's beaten one man, he's beaten two. He looks to have been pulled down just short. Referee Presley's having a look. Yep, he's about a metre short of the line. Speak at dummy half. Does well to get the pass away to Sheridan. Glanville. Andy Hale has to go in acting half-back. He's got Harris alongside him. He struggles to shake off Goulding, but he's found Hay again. And Andy Hay's pulled down on the last tackle for Leeds, about 11 metres away from the Huddersfield line. The ball's back to Harris for the kick. The chasers look to be onside, and there's a lot of pressure there for the Huddersfield defence. Golden's been up and spilt it. There's a Huddersfield man on the ball, and the referee Presley's happy with that. That's Glanville in for the tackle. The Leeds defence working pretty well so far. That was Ryan Hudson in at dummy half, and just been pulled down himself. Hudson, Goulding with the long kick. He's inside his own 40, but he won't trouble Saint-Hilaire playing against his old team. Goulding's protesting for an obstruction by Sheridan. The referee's played on, and Saint-Hilaire's made excellent ground. Paul Stirling's come in to continue the charge. Tackled by Fozzard and by Hudson. Fozzard holding down a little. Referee Presley opts to play on. This is Hay. Excellent pass to Godden. Godden's away. He's not. He's pulled down by Danny Arnold there. Arnold was the last man to beat. He'd already got past Darren Simpson. This is Masella. The tackler is John Neal. Andy Speaker, dummy half. Harris. Barry McDermott. Well, he anticipated the pass well there, McDermott. He's got the ball away to Speak. Speak's going for the line. The referee's having a look, and it's going to be a try for Andy Speak on his Leeds debut. Just forced his way between two men. It was McDermott who'd anticipated the pass expertly, hit the ball at speed, and that gave him the time to slip the pass out. Speak, like all good hookers, was following up, and he beat two tacklers on the Huddersfield line, right on the post to dive over. Bill, dream start for him.
Yeah, fantastic start for the youngsters. He's looked very good. He made a break early on. His distribution's been good. Thrown a couple of very impressive passes from the dummy half area, and he gets great reward there. Very sensible. He's obviously watched Barry McDermott play a lot in the first team. Knows that he is capable of slipping that ball out. Normally it's Terry Newton there to take it. This time Andy Speak. Great strength and vision. And already Huddersfield are starting to drop off tackles a little bit. We've seen in the past this season that Leeds have started slowly, but not tonight. And even at this stage, you do perhaps fear for the opposition.
Well, there's only 6 minutes on the clock, and the Rhinos are 4-0 up. Harris comfortably makes it 6-0. Very easy conversion for the Leeds captain. Well, of course, in the last time these two sides met was in round 7 at the McAlpine Stadium, and the score that time was 42-20 to the Rhinos. Leroy Yvette scoring 2 tries, and the last time they met here at Headingley it was 54-4 to Leeds, and it was Saint-Hilaire with a superb solo try that sealed the points for the Rhinos against his old club. The Leeds haven't been beaten in 12 games. Huddersfield have won just 2 of the last 6, and of course last week they suffered that disappointing reverse at the hands of Salford Reds, which has really put them deep in relegation trouble. The only side below them at the minute are the Hull Sharks, who gave Leeds such a test last week at the Boulevard. And really Huddersfield need to start picking points up if they're to stay comfortably ahead of the Sharks at the bottom of Super League. This is Farrell. Hudson and Fozzard in for the tackle. Speaking at dummy half for Leeds. Again, the referee lets you a little bit of holding down go, but he's pulled them up again for offside. That's the second time. Glanville was aware, and he took a quick tap. He's found Harris. Harris is running at the defence. Simpson's trying to cover. Godden on the inside ball. Well, a last-gasp tackle there by Dave Borton. The referee's playing on there. That was Sterling. This is Andy Hay. He's been forced towards the touchline by Danny Arnold, but his strength has kept him in field. Arnold was quickly round from dummy half, but the ball went towards the Leeds line the whole time. So referee Presley's perfectly happy for them to carry on. This is Andy Speak. Harris. Masella back on the inside. He's beaten Simpson. He's finally tackled just off the line by John Neal. This is Harris. Sheridan. Once again, Farrell coming on the inside ball. Tactic Leeds are using a lot already. Here's Harris. He's looking for the runners. Hay was a bit slow off the mark, and the pass came to him at waist height, and he's dropped it. Paul Reilly was quickly onto the ball, but there's no advantage there for Huddersfield. So referee Steve Presley will put them down to scrum. Right on the Huddersfield 10-metre line, and the Giants are under pressure. They've yet to have a set of 6 in the Leeds half, really. All the possession has been deep in their own territory. This is Goulding, the ball's still in scrum. It's come out where he didn't expect it to, and the man to pick it up is Darren Simpson in the end, the Huddersfield centre. In with the tackle is Speak, and he's tracking across quickly. Danny Arnold doesn't make much ground there. It's Farrell who eventually wraps him up. Here comes Basil Richards. Barry McDermott in with the tackle. Huddersfield look to go the same way. Ryan Hudson in at dummy half. It's the 5th and last for the Giants. John Neal didn't make a lot of ground there, and it's up to Goulding to make a good kick. He was under pressure, but he's kicked long and deep. It's fallen kindly for Leroy Yvette, though. Straight into the arms of Adi Moore, the Huddersfield standoff. He's in because of Craig Weston's absence. This is Darren Simpson making the tackle. And Marcus Santarelli. Here's Paul Sterling. He spotted a half gap. The crowd are shouting for a high tackle. The referee Presley says it was on the shoulder from Joe Berry and Bobby Goulding. Glanville trying to release the pass. Speak as well to flick it back to his legs, and the referee's playing on. Cheatham's calling for the Huddersfield defence to pull out to the left. But in the end, it's going to be a knock-on by the Rhinos. It's the first handling error of the evening from the Leeds team. It'll mean a scrum down for Huddersfield, about 13 metres inside their own half. We've about 10 minutes on the clock here so far at Headingley. The Watermen are on already. The scrum goes down. It'll be Goulding to feed it. Referee telling the Leeds defence to stay back on side, but they're very quickly up onto Moore. He finds Paul Loughlin. His first touch of the evening. On the loop there was Dave Borton, the loose forward. Didn't make a lot of ground. There goes Joe Berry. He's made it onto the halfway line. Andy Hay and Marcelo are quickly up in the tackle. Godden's there if they need him, and they don't. And Huddersfield is struggling to make an impact so far.
Yeah, it's very difficult for them. Again here, a knock-on. They cannot afford to make mistakes in this game. That's really the first time they've ventured into the Leeds half with the ball in their hand. Nick Fozzard trying really hard. His teammates consoling him. He obviously wants a big game against his former club, but those kind of mistakes just keep the pressure rolling.
So it's Sheridan to feed the scrum for Leeds. Glanville's unpacked quickly, but it was Sheridan who picked up, and he found Harris. This is Santalare for the Rhinos. Again, there's a lot of interference in the tackle from Paul Reilly. He's protesting, but I think Steve Presley's decision to penalise him for interference is the correct one. A lot of lying on. I think maybe the tactics that we saw from Sheffield here a fortnight ago, and they looked to slow to play the ball down, and perhaps being repeated a little bit by Huddersfield. Speak. It's McDermott on the charge. Richards took him down. The second ball on the pitch, but the referee's playing on. Here comes Marcelo. Very involved in the action from the start. Obviously completely back to full fitness is the prop forward. Keen to get involved. On the wrappers is Iestyn Harris. He spotted half a gap. Basil Richards was quite slow to slide across to fill it. Joe Berry similarly wasn't too quick, and Harris almost made the half break. This is Farrell. Harris. Hay. Glanville caught slightly out of position, and in the end he's found Godden. He does well to get the pass to Glanville. This is Sterling. Sterling's in at the corner. Completely beat Darren Simpson for pace down the line. Bobby Goulding's protesting about something, but the try will stand. Steve Presley signals it. And the break really there came from Brad Godden. He took the ball. He wasn't expecting to it, but he managed to just release the pass to Glanville, who'd come on the loop. Glanville found Sterling. And Darren Simpson just caught slightly out of position. And Sterling had the pace over 10 metres to edge in at the corner.
Good work there by Leeds, but Huddersfield again, first an error dropping the ball in the Leeds half, then giving away the penalty, and you have to say penalty's 3-0 to Leeds at the moment. Steve Presley obviously isn't going to take any nonsense of offside or laying on at the play the ball.
I think we could see him punching some holes in quite a weak defensive backline for Huddersfield tonight later on in the game. Harris kicks, and he's got it just inside the right-hand upright. Excellent conversion from about 5 metres inside the left-hand touchline as Leeds look up the field from the St Michael's Lane end. So that puts Leeds 12-0 up. We've played just over that amount of time, about 14 minutes on the clock so far. And already Huddersfield are under the cosh, and Goulding has to kick off for the second time this evening. Leeds it was who started the game. He's punted it high and long. He's found Sheridan. This is Farrell looking for a gap, none forthcoming. The defence from Huddersfield is quickly up, and Dave Borton, it was who made the tackle. There's 2 others in there, a lot of holding down. Steve Presley playing on, probably fairly. 2 of the Huddersfield men were struggling to regain their feet. But again, the pile on the top. John Neal, was very late in there. The 3rd man in, wasn't really needed in that tackle. And here comes McDermott. The defence are quickly up again, and the Leeds fans calling for offside. This is Andy Hay. Ran straight at John Neal there. Neal was slightly slow up in the line. And the kick comes from Harris. Long and deep. It's going to stop just before the in goal. It's perfectly positioned. Paul Reilly's got plenty of time to run it back though, but the line has moved up quite flat, and there's no gaps for him to find. Aidy Moore. Tackle comes in on Dave Borton from Mark Glanville. Speak involved in the tackling there. He'll stay in at first marker, and he slid across very quickly, straight in to take Basil Richards across the shoulders, and it's already the last one for Huddersfield. Goulding again under pressure with the kick. It was a poor pass back for him. McDermott was quickly up to chase, but the kick was quite good. It's found Saint-Hilaire. This is Sheridan. The runner's Marvin Golden, but Steve Presley's pulled them up, I think for a knock-on. I think he's called Leeds for a knock-on as the ball was played by Saint-Hilaire, so it's going to be a scrum down to Huddersfield, about 25 metres from the Leeds try line. And it's Goulding to feed the scrum. Adrian Moore finds Reilly, but the Leeds defence came across quickly, and he didn't have the time to get it out to Danny Arnold out in the wing. Darren Simpson in at dummy half. He's looked for the half gap, but his step just took him a second too long, and Harris was aware to the danger. And it's Dave Borton here. Finds Moore with the long pass. Goulding. Richards over-anticipated, but in the end it was Nick Fozzard who drove the ball in. It was an excellent hit by Farrell. Of course, he's playing against his first professional club as Andy Farrell, from the Mould Green Amateur Club in Huddersfield originally. That's Joe Berry. It's an excellent run. He's made it about 3 metres away. Still going. It's the last one though. This is Goulding. Well, he tried an overhead pass to Danny Arnold, but Paul Sterling leapt up and got it. Perhaps over-ambitious. He missed out 2 men with that pass, and Leeds already coming away with it with Brad Godden. Of course, Huddersfield are up against it. Their record against Leeds in Super League is 3 defeats from the 3 meetings since the Giants joined the Super League last season. The last time they were heading lead, they lost by 50 points. And here's Masella. Good ground, and he's having a fine game already. Again, the Huddersfield players are slowing it down. They're quick to move up. Sheridan, excellent hands by Harris. He wasn't expecting it to fall so low to him, but he's made it to halfway line. Touch just quickly on. And I think we'll see a penalty to Leeds for something going on in the tackle. The main tackler there was Paul Loughlin. He stood there, obviously expecting to get told off by referee Presley. Touches on was Pete Walton. And the penalty does go to Leeds. So the count now 4-0 against the Giants. They're yet to receive a penalty from referee Presley. All their time in possession has been quite limited. This is McDermott. Again Fozzard in with a tackle, and again the referee's whistle's gone. I think it was quite a high challenge on Fozzard, and there's something going off on the ground between McDermott and Fozzard. Everybody else is in. Fozzard's quite slow to regain his feet. And presumably the penalty will go against the ex-Leeds prop forward, who's yet to miss a Super League game for the Giants this season after missing so much of last year with a debilitating illness. Well, he's pulled out McDermott as well, presumably for the retaliation while they're both on the floor. And Fozzard's out as well. Two of the more fiery prop forwards in Super League. Harris has come to add his 2 pen off. Steve Presley's gone for the pocket. Fozzard's in the bin. I think McDermott will probably follow once he's given Fozzard time to depart. He's certainly getting a bit of a talking to from Presley, and he's gone as well. So 2 Leeds players in the bin. Sorry, 2 players in the bin. One of them ex-Leeds, one current Leeds. Both teams down to 12 for the next 10 minutes. But it's Leeds who get the penalty. It'll be Andy Speak who takes the tap. And it's Martin Masella. Speak at dummy half. Sheridan. He's got the ball away. Hayes who picks it up. Dodging the tackle of Ryan Hudson. And a quick scooch from Andy Speak. If he'd had a support run on his right, he might have made something there because there was a gap appearing. As it was, there wasn't anyone, so he was tackled. But this is Godden taking Harris's pass. Tackle came in from Darren Simpson. Glanville's held a metre short on the last tackle for Leeds. And Sheridan with the kick. It's rebounded off a Huddersfield player. That player was John Neal. But referee Presley rightly judging that he didn't make a play for it, and so it is the turnover. Farrell being caught in possession. Neal it is who'll take the play the ball. Hudson, Goulding, Moore. He spilt the ball. But Presley's saying it's gone backwards, and not just that, but there's a Leeds hand in, so there'll be another set of tackles to the Giants. Actually, it wasn't Moore who spilled the ball, it looks like Paul Loughlin, who's gone down clutching his side. Looks like he may have pulled a back muscle or something. The physio's on for the Giants, but they're playing on. And that was Dave Borton taking the drive. No runners available for Ryan Hudson. He's got to take it himself. Very slow moving up on the left-hand side with Loughlin down in back play. Calls for forward pass on Hudson. Go unheeded. They're going left again. That's Goulding. Again a call for forward pass. Masella misses the tackle, but Hay and Glanville don't. It's the last one. The kick came in from Adi Moore. He's kicked deep and it's found touch about 10 metres from the Leeds line. Won't be 40-20, he's inside the Leeds half when he kicked. One of the first times the Giants have made it that far into Rhinos territory this evening after 21 minutes of play. And really, Phil, have not looked like challenging the Leeds try line as yet.
No, and it could be an even bigger penalty, the sin binning, because it's going to create more space, and the way Leeds have been playing at the moment, they'll be exploiting that. You take 2 big men off, it leaves space out wide for the fast men. Andy Hayes trying to fill that gap. Andy Speaks giving quality ball quickly. Ryan Sheridan is using Iestyn Harris, and Brad Godden's coming in field of it looking for work, and you would think that this 10 minutes would yield more scores for Leeds.
As it is, they're currently 12-0 up, 22 minutes on the clock, and they're in possession about 11 metres from their own line. Again, the Huddersfield players very slow to get up from the tackle. Guilty parties outside with Paul Reilly and Adi Moore. Santalaire. Tackled by John Neal. This is Speak. He's found Harris. And Santalaire with nowhere to go, but he's managed to get the ball out to goal, and he's got a chance to run with it. It's a good tackle from Andy Cheetham. Cheetham's calling for the knock-on. It won't be given. And no lap from Ryan Sheridan. Was facing his own line. That's Farrell. The last one for Leeds, and they're still well inside their own half. This is Harris. Hay. Godden with space to run in. He kicks ahead. The kick's going to go into touch though. Sterling put a good chase in, but he's never going to make that. And Reilly was coming across the cover if he had picked it up. So they scrum down to Huddersfield. We've both seen teams showing the signs of a long season with quite inexperienced lineups. Leeds have named David Wrench on the substitutes bench for what would be only his third first-team game for the Rhinos. Speak, of course, making his debut, and the Huddersfield Giants have got several unfamiliar names in the lineup, including Adrian Moore at standoff. On the bench, they've got names like Carlton, Byrne and Gleeson. And the loss of people like Craig Weston with injury recently can't have helped. Jim Lenihan also out. That was one of the younger players, Adrian Moore with the pass. Found Paul Loughlin. This is Goulding. Takes a return pass, and he just ankle tapped by Mark Glanville as he's threatening to make the half break. But they've knocked on, and the man who created that break, John Neal, flaps his hands in frustration. Just as it looked like Huddersfield were starting to build something, they lost the ball, and I think it was Ryan Hudson who was the guilty man. So they scrum down for Leeds, and the first change, it looks like, for the Giants. The man on is the number 32, Jim Carlton. The man who's come off is John Neal, the former St Helens prop forward. Quickly in for the tackle is Carlton, who started to make regular first-grade appearances in the last couple of months. One of the younger players in tonight's Huddersfield lineup. He's again in for the tackle, joined by Basil Richards. This is Harris. Goulding's got him, but he's not managed to complete the tackle, and here goes Godden. Sterling on the inside. Has he got the legs? It looks like he's going all the way to the line. That's an excellent try by Paul Sterling. Shook off Bobby Goulding first. That gave him the space to cut and field, and no other Huddersfield man could even lay a hand on the Leeds winger. So it's Leeds 16, Huddersfield 0. And he's put it over with ease. And if he was to leave the club at the end of the season, that'd certainly be a surprising move for someone who supported Leeds even as a youngster. Here comes a penalty for Leeds. Carlton and Berry penalised for holding down in the tackle. And Harris will kick for touch. And he finds it, makes a good 10 metres with the kick. Speak to take the quick tap. Finds Marcella on the rampage. Marcella still working hard and making ground. Speak at dummy half. This is Farrell. He had Sheridan at his shoulder but chose not to use him. And again, some delaying tactics there from the Giants. Harris. This is Hay. Godden. He's got Sterling outside him. He probably won't need him. He's going away. He's found Saint-Hilaire. Superb pass. Saint-Hilaire's under the posts. And it's a try for Leeds almost from the restart. There's only a minute on the clock since Paul Sterling's touchdown. But Godden went away. Superbly due Paul Reilly, the Huddersfield fullback. And he had Sterling inside him, but opted to throw the long ball to Marcus Saint-Hilaire. There's no one who's going to catch him against his old club. Saint-Hilaire's touchdown. And he took the score out to Leeds 22, Huddersfield 0. Of course, the last time the sides met, Leeds managed to register 42 points. Looks like they could well top that this evening, with Harris lining up for another easy goal kick. He lands it again, maintains the 100% record, pushes the score out to 24-0. We've still got 12 minutes of the first half to play. Well, so far I think the guilty parties for the Giants got to be their right wing pairing of Danny Arnold and Darren Simpson. Arnold, the converted fullback, has been roving inside quite a lot. He's left Simpson out on his own, and Simpson can't really fault him specifically on any incident, but certainly is slow to move up at times. The short kick-off from Bobby Goulding. Farrell takes it comfortably. There was no real chase from the Giants there. It's a well-weighted kick from Goulding. This is Speak. Well, the two sin-bin players, Nick Fozzard and Barry McDermott, walking from down the touchline. They're itching to get back on. They've probably got about another 30 seconds. Well, here they go. They're both back on the field. As Godden goes away again, he's pulled down by Simpson, but really he's causing the Huddersfield centre all sorts of problems tonight. Godden again. Speak. This is Marcella. No one in support for him, though. He's pulled down by Ryan Hudson. This is Harris. Spotted the gap. Hudson was pushing to the right, anticipating the Leeds move would go that way. It didn't. That created half a gap. And going back into the same channel is Barry McDermott. The substitution in back play for the Rhinos. Marcella's off. Jamie Matthew on. Here goes Godden again. The tackle eventually from Joe Berry, but it's the last one. Sheridan. Saint-Hilaire. Harris. Harris long ball. It's touched Huddersfield hands. The hands of Paul Loughlin. It's going to be another set of tackles for Leeds that can hold the ball safe in the knowledge they've got 6 to go. And foul it is, who wisely opts to drive it in. He's about 10 metres from the Huddersfield line now. And this is Leroy Yvette. Probably a costly error there by Paul Loughlin. It was the last one to go for Leeds, and I don't think they're going anywhere. The defence was stacked on the Huddersfield left. But here come Leeds. This is Sheridan, Saint-Hilaire, Harris, and Harris jumps over the body of Paul Reilly, and he's in, and he touches down about 2 metres to the left-hand side of the post. Very simple try, Phil.
I may have mentioned this once before, but Huddersfield seem to have made a mistake there, and Leeds seem to have capitalised on it. Again, Paul Loughlin probably took the gamble going for the interception. I don't know what he would have achieved if he'd made it. Perhaps he was just desperate to slow the Leeds play down, but once he'd given Leeds another 6 inside the 20, it was a question of who was going to score this time.
It'll be his 5th successful conversion of the evening if he lands it. We've still got 9 minutes to play to half-time once he puts it over. And it's a successful one. 5 from 5 for Harris. And the Huddersfield Giants will have to kick off again into Leeds territory. Goulding kicks off again. He's opted to go to the left once more. And once more he's found Ryan Sheridan. He may have got a hand through there, I don't know, but Presley's playing on. And a fearsome hit from the Huddersfield defence. And once again the whistle's gone from Steve Presley. He's gone running over to his touch judge. Perhaps some questions about the legality of the challenge from the massed ranks of the Huddersfield forwards. No, he's gone back for the knock-on by Sheridan from the original kick-off. So obviously allowed play to stop. Consulted with touch judge Peter Walton. He's given the drop. He's given the knock-on, so it will be a drop-out by Leeds. Harris it is as he saunters over to the post, who will take it. Well, Leeds are trying to play on, but Steve Presley's going to put them down to scrum. I think he's adjudging that it was the first knock-on. And the feed will be by Ryan Sheridan. If you can hear a faint noise in the background, it's an aeroplane going overhead advertising the big game at Headingley in a week's time between the Rhinos and St Helens. Here's Saint-Hilaire. Rivette at dummy half. Rivette opts to take the scoop. Tackle was from Mick Fozzard. Back on the field after his sin binning. This is Glanville. Andy Speak at dummy half. Harris. And here goes Andy Hay. Well, he tried to get the inside ball to Godden, who'd come on the loop expecting it. And Joe Berry, perhaps through fortune rather than anything else, got the ball. It's been stolen off him by Ryan Sheridan in the tackle. Berry's none too impressed by referee Presley's decision to play on. I think he thought the tackle being completed. Whether it was or not, Sheridan took his chance, came up with the ball, and the Rhinos are back in possession. This is Jamie Matthew. Speaking at dummy half. Glanville came on the loop. The speed wasn't expected. It's a poor pass. It's his first mistake of the evening, the youngster. Didn't find Harris well. I think he was expecting Glanville to already be in position, but Glanville was looking for the loop round the dummy half. And it's the first error for Speak this evening. He made a promising debut. He's played 35 minutes without coming with any problems. He seemed a more than adequate replacement for the injured Jackson and Newton. It's a scrum down to Huddersfield. But Paul Reilly was looking for that. He knew that Goulding was going to kick downfield. He started his run. He's on the chase, but he won't make that. Saint-Hilaire holding protection from his two wingers there, Yvette and Sterling. Reilly was bearing down at pace, but he just a couple of yards off. This is Sterling. Huddersfield attempting to steal the ball. He's kept a firm grip of it though, and Danny Arnold has not come away with it. Here's Rivette, wide off his wing, looking for the scoop. Speak, Matthew. Harris, he's put him through the gap, fantastic play. Harris is away, Reilly's chasing him. Has he got the legs? Yes, he has, he's in. He's beaten both challenges from Reilly and from the winger Andy Cheetham. It was a superb pass from Jamie Matthew. Matthew sucked the defenders in. He saw Harris coming in on the opposite angle. Delayed his pass to the last second, and Harris was away. And while he may not be the quickest player in the Super League, he was certainly quicker than both Reilly and Cheetham there, and he went away to score.
Again, I hate to say it, but Huddersfield kicking on the first tackle from a scrum is merely giving the ball back to Leeds, and the last thing Huddersfield need to see are these Leeds backs coming at them from all over the park.
This kick, again, another easy one for Harris. I'm saying it again, but he's put it over, and that'll make it 36-0. They're running just under point a minute. We've had 37 so far. 36 points by the Rhinos, none from the Giants. And I think Phil's right, Huddersfield, they've had an absolute dearth of possession, and then they throw it away on the first tackle. When they were only on the halfway line, they had a chance to build something meaningful, but all the possession pretty much has been in their own half. Very rare forays into Leeds' half, and Leeds, well, they've had, at my estimate, probably 75% of the play so far. And that's partly through Huddersfield being penalised rightly by the referee for the tactics they play the ball, and partly through their error rate. Leeds have hardly made an error so far. Here comes Rivette. Hudson and Fozzard in for the tackle. Speak at dummy half. Finds McDermott. Good work from Dave Bolton, but he's not managed to wrap the tackler up, and this is Mark Glanville. Again, he's attacking down the left. Again, Sterling's come on the loop inside, and again, the Huddersfield defence is struggling to pick him up. In the end, it was Basil Richards who tracked across and pulled him down. He found support from Hudson, and Leeds are going back to the right. This is Farrell. Farrell running at the defence. Well, even Farrell's away, and Farrell's broken clear down the right. He's being chased by Andy Cheetham. Reilly's across. He's beaten Reilly. And it's a try from the most unlikely source of Anthony Farrell.
And no player deserves to score more on his performances this season. Mr. Consistent, he's played superbly well, and he's come up with a try that he'll relish against one of his former clubs. And again, he's just shown the pace of a centre, which is what he was when he played for Huddersfield. Shrugged off the challenge of the smaller, younger man. Moore had no chance, cut inside the fullback Reilly, and Leeds are absolutely rampant. And you would wonder what both coaches would say at half-time. And the real worrying thing for Huddersfield is they only need to look at the Leeds bench, and there's players like Adrian Moore that haven't even come on yet. And
Rhinos are exactly on 40 points. Harris to make it 42. May have said Andy Farrell there. He certainly ran as fast as Andy Farrell did. Anthony Farrell completely broke the cover down the right-hand side, just accelerated through the line, and when a winger like Andy Cheetham can't catch him, says something for the pace of the Leeds forwards. Harris has put the goal over, so it's Leeds 42, Huddersfield 0. We must just be coming up to half-time now, and once again Bobby Goulding has got to kick off and restart the game for the Giants. McDermott on the charge, and he's already made it to 20-metre line, and the Huddersfield forwards can't be relishing the prospect of McDermott breathing down their necks again. This is Hay. Tackle from Fozzard, Newton and Berry, and it's half-time. And I'm sure the Huddersfield players will be glad to see the dressing room. They're 42 points down, and there's certainly no way back from this one. Well, the juniors who play on the field at Headingley at half-time have just left the park, including the Winmore Warriors junior team I used to coach some years ago. Fine bunch of players who could well be playing on this park in a few years' time. It'll be Huddersfield to restart the second half. Bobby Goulding will have to kick again, and there's been a change for Huddersfield. Loughlin, who sustained that injury about 5 minutes before half-time, has come off, and the substitute who's on is, as Phil says, Martin Gleeson. Phil, who has a overriding knowledge of rugby league, tells me that Gleeson is an amateur from the Wigan area. Here comes McDermott, who in his own time was an amateur from the Lancashire area. He played his junior rugby at Waterhead in Oldham. Here's Andy Hay. Jamie Matthews again looking for the inside runner. That was the tactic that put Harris away in the first half. Sheridan was a little late to arrive. Matthew again. No support runners, but he's managed to flick a reverse pass out of the back of his hand, and Sheridan was awake enough to pick it up. Harris with the kick. Cheetham. This is Paul Reilly from dummy half. He's tackled by Matthew and Speak. A big charge from Fozzard. He ran from very deep there. He started his run about 15 metres away from the ruck area, and it made good ground for the ex-Leeds player. The kicks come in from Huddersfield. Rivette. He's got Santillan in support if he needs him. He's sold the dummy to Goulding, who was quick enough to change his mind and come back and make the tackle. This is Santillan now. Foul. Well, the play the ball's getting exceptionally slow, and the Huddersfield defence were up to almost the ruck area by the time Leeds managed to get the ball played. Hey, Santillan, there's a gap there, and he's through it and he's away. He's cut inside, and Ryan Sheridan just overran Santillan there. He could have got the pass away. Paul Reilly's tackle wasn't complete, but he didn't. But anyway, Leeds is still on the attack. Andy Speak. Speak is only just hauled down. Still going to be the last tackle for Leeds. Godden. Farrell. Return pass to Sheridan. Sheridan's got the ball away to Marvin Golden. He's running at the defence. He's stepped one man, but he's lost the ball. And that's a chance gone begging for Leeds. Not that they really need it at 42 points to the good. And Huddersfield have spilled the ball too. I think that referee Presley, yes, he's gone for the turnover. He's a judge that Huddersfield haven't built an advantage up, which they haven't. They've made only a yard after Marvin Golden's knock on. Well, that break was really started by Marcus Santillan. There was 3 men in from Huddersfield making the tackle, and that had created a gap round the ruck, which he was quick to exploit. And really, that's one of the side effects of the slowing down tactics around the play the ball that the Giants have chosen to adopt tonight. That's Richards. Goulding. Hudson gone for the scoop, but Andy Speak, who was dummy half, slid across and was well aware of the threat. Anthony Farrell completed the tackle. Goulding's kick's gone high and long, and there's a chase in there. And Santillan's down, and that looks like quite a bad injury. What exactly went on there, I'm not too sure. There was a very enthusiastic chase led by David Borson for Huddersfield. Whether Borson collided with Santillan deliberately and took him out, I don't know. The ball certainly travelled forward, probably off a pair of Leeds' hands, probably Santillan's, and the touch judge is on. And I think, as Phil says, the incident's going to go on report here, and probably rightly so, because at that speed you couldn't really tell what happened. This is probably a correct example of how the on-report system should be used, rather than the way it is used in general in Super League. Well, the scrum has gone against Leeds. Referee Presley adjudging a knock-on. Again, I think a correct decision. There's no way you can tell if a foul had been committed on Santillan, and I think he was the man who spilt the ball there. Well, it was an excellent kick from Bobby Goulding, of course. Kicks it high and hard. He was again under pressure. He's had very little support in setting up his kicks from the Huddersfield team. The feed back to him has been quite poor. He's had little protection, but he's put a series of good kicks in when he's had the opportunity, and that one hung in the air long enough for the support to come up. Well, Huddersfield finally got a penalty. Aidy Moore's trying to take a quick tap, but he was slightly obstructed by Leeds players. He tried to do at the back of the referee. Huddersfield have lost the ball, but they've won a penalty for a high tackle. Andy Speak was in there, but I don't think it was him who committed the high tackle. I think it was Anthony Farrell. The man who went down like a ton of bricks was Nick Fozzard, and Huddersfield have got a chance. Andy Cheetham, he's got the ball back inside. It's to Paul Reilly, but Reilly's pulled down. They're still only a metre down. Reilly again, running at the defence. Hudson at dummy half. Goulding. Poor pass, too long, too hard. Darren Simpson in, he's picked it up. There's calls to knock on, but I think it'd be quite harsh to give that decision against Simpson. The Huddersfield is still in possession, and really an ill-adjudged attempt to scoot from dummy half by Jim Carlton there. He ran straight back into the Leeds tacklers, Sheridan and Glanville, made no ground, and Huddersfield have basically lost ground. Excellent hit from Golden. He anticipated brilliantly, moved up ahead of the rest of the line, and I think the youngster Martin Gleeson will be fielding that. The ball's loose. The man who's on it is Mark Glanville. Well, he was half tackled by a Huddersfield player who's down and injured. Leeds are going to play on. Presley's made them play the ball, much to the disgust of Goulding, who wanted a penalty, I think, for Leeds not taking to play the ball. But here goes Saint-Hilaire. We'll find out who the Huddersfield player down in back players for you in a minute. As it is, Saint-Hilaire has made it to 30 metres away. Here comes Matthew. The Huddersfield defence, who all at sea, are not lined up properly. And this is Harris. There goes Godden. The ball's out to Sterling. Sterling's in. He's going to improve the angle. It's a fine try for the Leeds winger. So it's going to be Leeds 46, Huddersfield Giants 0. The Huddersfield defence were all over the place. It struggled to make a coherent line, and the try was always going to happen there. In the end, all Harris had to do was swing the ball out to Godden, who put a pass and a try on the plate for Paul Sterling.
Yeah, and it's come on the left-hand side again, and it's come after Bobby Goulding's kick was charged down on halfway. Great work by Mark Glanville to regather. Huddersfield at complete disarray at the play of the ball. There was a man laying injured when really he should have been marking up. Matthew again getting the ball away. Leeds spreading it to the left. Andy.
The man who was down in back play for Huddersfield was Joe Berry, who I think sustained a kick to a rather delicate part of the anatomy. Leeds are making a substitution in back play. The man who's on is Francis Cummings. The man who's off is Leroy Yvette. And Iestyn Harris has missed his first goal kick of the evening, put it against the upright, which means that they've fallen slightly behind the clock again. They're no longer running at a point a minute. It's now 46-0 to the Rhinos. 48 minutes gone. Huddersfield have another 32 minutes of torture to endure. And Cummings, who's just joined the field, will no doubt be keen to add to his try tally this season, which currently stands at 16. He's the Leeds top try scorer at this stage of the year. And it shows the strength of the Rhinos team that they can afford to leave him on the bench. And really, one of the men who's probably prospered from that, Marvin Golden, has had a fine defensive game this evening. And another man who's benefited from an extended run recently, Paul Sterling, has had a fine game on attack, and that try there, he didn't have a lot to do, but what he did very well. McDermott over the halfway line. Paul played the ball, Speaks picked it up again. He's had a very encouraging debut, Speak. He's shown real confidence and competence in the hooking role for a young player. Thrust into the limelight unexpectedly. And of course he's got 3 winners' medals for the Academy Championship. He played as part of a very successful Leeds Academy team for 3 years before graduating to the Lions this year. So he's definitely got the calibre and the experience at lower levels. And he's again in on the tackle. He's worked hard on defence. He slides very quickly off the marker all the time, and he's again in to make the tackle. He's often there at first mark, and watching him again, he's always quick to move across. This time he doesn't, because Matthew's there instead. And the Leeds defence working overtime here, pinning the Huddersfield team deep. Hudson, Goulding, Borton. Fozzard forced into dummy half roll. Adrian Moore with the kick. A quiet game today from the youngster at standoff. Really, Goulding's had to share most of the kicking work in broken field. But that's a good one from Adrian Moore. And the tacklers, the chase could really have done much better there in trying to trap Francis Cummings in his own goal. As it is his first test after coming on as substitute. He made it in field, and here's Marvin Golden. He's broken away. The chase, well, the only one chasing him is Darren Simpson. He's not going to make it. He'll stop him improving the angle, but Golden's in. Golden scored. It's a superb try. He's gone 90 metres. He beat Jim Carlton deep inside his own territory, and after that there was no one to chase him. The Huddersfield defence gave up the ghost immediately. They're walking back dejectedly. Only Darren Simpson, coming across from the other wing, had the energy to make a chase, and even then he had very little impact as Golden managed to make it round to almost underneath the posts to score an excellent solo try. 51 minutes gone. Harris to land another goal kick, another simple goal kick. Almost all the tries have been scored on the post or near them tonight because Leeds' tries have all come so easily, and it should be a simple kick, and it is straight between the uprights. 52-0, 51 on the clock. They're ahead of time again, and Huddersfield look a dejected team as they walk back to the halfway line. Well, again, really, this is a judgment on the 30-match programme that Super League have put their team to this season. Huddersfield are always going to struggle on a night like this. It's a major nail in the coffin if they're to maintain their Super League status, and Leeds, of course, had an extra 2 days to recover from last week's game against Hull, being on a Friday night. And here's Phil with news of a substitution.
Yeah, and the last thing Huddersfield need is to see somebody like Adrian Morley on the sideline. It shows that the Leeds strength in depth is so great this year. Huddersfield struggling to get 13 men on the park today, and Leeds bringing the calibre of Francis Cummins and Adrian Morley off the bench. And you really do wonder what havoc he's going to create in a tiring defence.
This is Sterling creating some havoc of his own. Beaten one man. In the end, Danny Arnold pulled him down. Arnold, probably a poor game tonight from the Exton Helens player. Defensively, he struggled. On attack, he's done not a lot. McDermott. Jim Carlton manages to drag him down. Leeds calling for holding down. I don't think that's going to be given. Well, Morley's eventually taken the field, and the man he's replaced, surprisingly, is centre Brad Godden. Here goes Harris. Sold the dummy to Simpson. He's away, he's drawn in Reilly. Sheridan away. Excellent chase. Sheridan's over the line now. I think they're going to give the try for momentum. And it is a try. But it was a valiant chase from Andy Cheetham, but Sheridan really had the pace there. Harris had banned the half gap. There was a gap in the Huddersfield line. He beat Darren Simpson with an excellent sidestep, shot away. Paul Reilly came across to cover him, but as usual, Ryan Sheridan was there on his shoulder. Sheridan beat Cheetham, and it's another try. It's really become a procession. It'll be an easy goal kick for Iestyn Harris.
Procession is the word, and really now it looks like maybe Adrian Morley or Andy Hayes moved out into the centres, but that was straight up the middle from Iestyn Harris. The Huddersfield defence absolutely shot to pieces. Great support, typical scrum half support as Harris tags on the goal. Hard luck to Andy Cheetham. At least he showed spirit trying to chase back, but Sheridan just too quick, too strong, and Leeds could be approaching another Super League record score here.
Goulding to kick off again. Kick to the right. There's a chase going on from the Huddersfield players, but it's no problem for Harris. Saint-Hilaire. Andy Speak at dummy half. Phil tells me news of a Huddersfield substitution. Dave King, the Australian, taking the field for Huddersfield. Nick Fozzard, who's worked very hard in a beaten Huddersfield pack tonight, has come off. He's probably been the pick of their forwards for me so far. Really had a good game against his old club. And this season has been a good year for Fozzard after coming back from a year out with injury last year. Many thought he wouldn't make it back to the starting gate, but as it is, he's turned out every time this season for the Giants. Gone after the 55 minutes of hard work. It's going to be a scrum for Huddersfield. The error was by Leeds. Moore brings Simpson into the line with a reverse pass. The tackle from Marvin Golden, completed comfortably. Reilly with nowhere to go. He's come back in field. Excellent tackle by Andy Speak though. He's really worked hard tonight as the youngster. I'm sure Graham Murray will be very impressed by him on his debut. Of course, Leeds with the extra incentive of playing for the first time under Graham Murray's command for a fortnight. A little bit patchy, their form in the 2 games under Damien McGrath, who said that the fortnight in control had given him grey hairs. This is Basil Richards. Paul Reilly, nice run from the fullback, makes it over the line. He's Huddersfield's biggest tackle breaker this season. Ryan Hudson. And Reilly, one of the highlights of the season for the Giants. Carlton. An error from Goulding, turns it into a kick, but Steve Presley's pulling him back for the turnover instead. This is Cummings. Nice run from the winger, held down a little long by Basil Richards. This is Speak, looking for the gap. That's Morley making his first real intervention. He's found Marcus Saint-Hilaire. He's beaten the tackle of Paul Reilly. There's a chase on, neither of them make it. That's a try for Leeds. And a fine break from Adrian Morley. His first impact since joining field. The 2 Huddersfield chasers for Saint-Hilaire ended up colliding with one another. I think it was Danny Arnold, and the second man I think may have been Gleeson. I'm not sure from the commentary position in the south stand here, but neither of them anyway could match the pace of Saint-Hilaire, who scored another fine try against his old club.
Absolute bust. And again, it was a high pass. Saint-Hilaire took it well and reeled it in. Still had 3 men to beat and used his speed and strength and momentum to push off them. Fantastic try. Harris goals, and Leeds are rampant. It's well over a point a minute now.
It's 64-0 now to Leeds. We could well be seeing the Super League record score, and to be honest, I don't think Huddersfield are going to get on the board. Even if they do, it won't stop Leeds extending their unbeaten run to 13 matches. And really, the Rhinos seem to be on absolute top form at the minute. Every player on the park pulling his weight tonight. No one having a bad game amongst them. And the most impressive for me so far is the young hooker Andy Speak, who seems to have a big future ahead of him on the impact he's made tonight. Goulding to kick off yet again. It's been a tough night for the Huddersfield skipper. He's worked hard all evening. He's not made a huge impact. He's not had a lot of support from his Huddersfield teammates. This is McDermott. Foul. And joining the fray for the Rhinos is Dave Wrench. He's replaced Mark Glanville. It's Wrench's 3rd appearance of the season and only his 3rd ever first grade appearance for the Rhinos for the young forward. And Phil tells me that Shane Byrne has replaced Basil Richards for the Huddersfield Giants. This is Darren Simpson for Huddersfield. Picks up the error from Leeds. And both sides starting to ring the changes now. We're just coming up to the hour mark of this game. The result has long been decided, but the players are still pretty tired after a fast-paced game. This is Huddersfield trying to make an impact, but Cheetham took that ball, stood stock still in his tracks, and while he's weaving in field, he's going nowhere. That's a shame, because the pass from Martin Gleeson had given him a bit of time and space to work in, and really the ex-Lee winger could have done better with that. Hudson at dummy half. Goulding. The charges from Dave King. He came on the ball at pace but didn't do a lot. The man who's just hit the deck is the Huddersfield number 32, Jim Carlton, with the chip and chase. Didn't look to be an obstruction from the Leeds player. And Carlton's up on his feet. Well, that's a big hit there. Excellent hit. Looks to have been Dave Borton. Yes, it is. Huddersfield loose forward. Timed his run out of the line to perfection. Caught Cummings, stood still. And there's 3 men in again, so the Giants, while it's been patchy, the tackling has at times been good, but really there's not been many plus points for Mal Reilly to take away from this one. I'm sure he won't be a happy man in the press conference afterwards. Never the cheeriest sort of bloke afterwards anyway. Here's Marcus Saint-Hilaire. He's got 2 men outside him. In the end he opts to go it alone. He did have Cummings there and maybe should have used him. It was Cheetham who finished up making a tackle. He was assisted by Martin Gleeson. The kick came in from Iestyn Harris. Ambling across to pick it up is Danny Arnold. And good tackle from Spink, lets him go nowhere. Like to see how many tackle speed's gone through tonight. I would expect it's quite a lot for a hooker. Of course, Kevin Sinfield set a record amount of tackles for Leeds last week. Sinfield not in the lineup this week. And again, Speak involved in that tackle with Jamie Matthews, worked very hard. The cheer in the background for Castleford's victory over Wigan. The victory here at Headingley is most definitely Leeds. That's Adrian Moore tackled. The kick is from Carlton. He's hacked on again and again and again. Tugged down by Harris. It's fallen kindly for Andy Cheetham, sorry, and Cheetham is in. Well, it's a try for the Huddersfield Giants. Came out of nothing, really. Jim Carlton had tried to kick through about 5 minutes previously. He tried it again, managed to hack on, and while he caught an ankle tap from Francis Cummings, which knocked him down, the ball fell very kindly for Andy Cheetham, who was able to touch down in the corner. Huddersfield youngster certainly chuffed at his part in the try. Goulding with the kick, and it's just crept over the top of the crossbar. So that puts the score now to Leeds 64, Huddersfield 6. We've had 63 minutes of play. It's pegged the Rhinos lead back to 58. Don't think that will be of too much concern to Graham Murray, although I'm sure he would have liked to have a clean sheet from this one. Leeds defence couldn't really be blamed there. Quite a lucky bounce of the ball on several occasions for Huddersfield. You can't fault Carlton for trying it. And McDermott leads the field, and returning is Martin Masella, who had a fine first half before he was replaced. He's back on the paddock. Harris. There's a scramble for the ball. Andy Hay went up for it. Darren Simpson went up for it as well. And it looks to be a Leeds body under the pile of other bodies, and it was Paul Sterling who eventually came up with the ball. I think there may have been a knock-on from Huddersfield in there somewhere as well. Here's Andy Speak. Sheridan at dummy half. He's going to go right. He's found Harris. Harris gets a return ball to Farrell. Farrell coming across the line. Straight back into two bodies though, and he's well tackled in the end. Dave King, the main Huddersfield player, in there. Support was from Joe Berry and David Borton. Golden. Cummings, it's a try for Francis Cummings for Leeds. Huddersfield are arguing amongst themselves whose fault it is, but I think in the end it was Adrian Moore who missed the tackle. Really a simple reverse pass from Golden. Leeds looked to be going absolutely nowhere. It was a 3-on-2 situation. Two of the tacklers went for Golden. He unloaded. The third one coming across was a stand-off Adrian Moore. He missed his tackle. Cummings was in, but really it shouldn't have been down to Moore. The centre and the winger were both in position. They both went for the same man, Marvin Golden. He set up a try, virtually on a plate for Francis Cummings. And is his 114th career try and his 183rd appearance for the Rhinos. One of his simpler ones. Good work from Marvin Golden, who's in top form at the minute, as his coach Graham Murray said in Total Rugby League magazine today. He's really worked hard in his form since being left out of the Challenge Cup semi-final. There's been a change, I think, for Huddersfield. The man who's on is John Neal, returning to the field for Huddersfield. We think the man off may well be Joe Berry. We'll check on that for you. It's Leeds in possession. Anthony Farrell against his old club. Another one who's had a fine game this evening. Speak to Matthew. Steve Presley's also had a good game this evening. He's controlled both teams quite well. His penalties have come when they've needed to. He's kept the game flowing, but he's prevented Huddersfield from slowing it down too much. And really, it's not been a tough one for him, but he's managed to keep both teams in check. Here goes Harris. He sold the dummy to David Borton. He's found Adrian Morley on the charge. Morley, Masella. And Masella's in. Well, Paul Reilly tried and tried. He chased Harris, he chased Morley, and he chased Masella. But Masella just gave him the handoff. And really, when a man as small as Reilly against a man as big and strong as Masella, and he's done all that chasing, there's only going to be one winner. And that was Harris there. But he saw the gap from dummy half. The little sidestep sent one marker one way, one marker the other. And really, it's the golden rule if you're marking. The first marker chases, the second man holds the gap. Neither of them held the gap. Harris was away. It's another simple try for Leeds.
Yeah, your analysis absolutely spot on if you were a coach, presumably if the sides were 0-0 at the time or you were just sending them out, but this Huddersfield defence is absolutely, completely shot to pieces. The phrase that's been used this year more than any other is all across the park, and it's all across the park that Huddersfield have been found efficient tonight, and again with somebody like Iestyn Harris just ghosting into the line at will. Full credit to Martin Masella. He's come back into the team. He's shown over the last game and a half that he's back to full fitness, and he doesn't score many tries and he'll enjoy that one.
Well, it's only his 4th career try for the Rhinos in 66 appearances now, Martin Masella, and I'm sure he enjoyed that one, especially the handoff at the end on poor old Paul Reilly, who's had a terrible evening tonight. Not really his own fault. He's tried hard. He's been a discovery of the season for Huddersfield, and he's had to withstand a lot of pressure this evening, and he really tried hard, but in the end Masella has just had the pace and the strength on him at the end of what must be an absolutely exhausting evening for a very inexperienced Huddersfield lineup. Can count 6 teenagers and they're 17 tonight, several more with not a lot of Super League experience between them. When they're missing the likes of Tangata Toa, Lenihan, Weston, then really they're up against it from the start. The pressure of a long campaign, only 5 days recovery from Sunday's defeat by Salford, which was really dispiriting, and they must have gone into tonight's game not knowing that they wouldn't have much success. This is Ryan Hudson. He won the tap penalty because there's a little bit of a punch in the tackle from Jamie Matthew, completely unnecessary, but Hudson did well to spot the half gap. Simpson from dummy half, he's made a little bit more ground. Tackled by Andy Hayes, playing very wide out tonight for Leeds. Not made perhaps his usual impact from wide out, but then he's had Brad Godden going down that left wing, making most of the impact for most of the game, and then Adrian Morley replacing him, who created that fine try. Shane Byrne there tackled, he's joined the action. Martin Gleeson, the other substitute. Handover awarded by Steve Presley, so the Huddersfield pressures come to nothing. And here comes Cummings.
And it looks as though Leeds are setting for a move, even though they're on their own 10-metre line. They know that they can bust it out wide. Here's a long pass, and there are gaps already. Could be something on here for Paul Sterling. Great tackling cover.
Apparently Harris has landed 11 goals tonight, which is 2 off the current Leeds club record. He's still got another 10 minutes to try and break it. That's him there. Phil tells me the record was, of course, set by the golden boy Lewis Jones. Sterling there. Harris, long pass. Masella, half a gap if he can take it. Tried to put Anthony Fowle into it instead. Fowle's knocked on. He's none too chuffed with himself. One of the very few errors tonight from the Rhinos. Scrum down to Huddersfield. Paul Reilly. Moore's definitely what's on the tackle. There's 2 men in there, but it was a knock-on, so the scrum will be to Leeds. Leeds with an excellent chance to go above 80 for the first time in Super League this evening. They've still got 9 minutes to play. They're still ahead of the clock on points scored. Huddersfield, well, they've been quite resilient in the last 10 minutes, but I'm sure the Leeds will be able to nip in for 1 or 2 more before the end of the game. Sheridan, Harris finds the gap again. Harris is away. He's away. There's no one going to catch him. There's a man coming across. Harris is over the line. It's a try for the Leeds captain. Takes the score to 78-6. A superb break. It was Paul Reilly who made the error. He's hanging his head in back play. Right, again, Harris's little sidestep sent Reilly the wrong way. He joined the line. There was no man back to cover. And while the winger came across to try and make the tackle on Harris. Danny Arnold was never going to pull him down. This goal to put him one off the club record for goals, certainly. Another simple chance, puts it away, converts his own try. 12 goals for Harris, 3 tries. And he takes the acclamation of the crowd as Huddersfield have to kick off again. Well, I think we've definitely broken the Super League points record this evening now. I don't think any team has topped 80 in Super League before. The score currently stands Leeds 80, Huddersfield 6. We've still got 7 minutes to play, and Leeds got a penalty for a high tackle despite the protest of David Borton. Harris kicks a touch. He's found it just into the red zone for Huddersfield. Well, no, the referee's given it 10 metres further back from where it appeared to go into touch. Speak with the tap. Pass was intended for Sheridan. In the end, Marcella picks it up. Jim Cartland with a tackle, swings his arm in. There's protest from the crowd, but really all he got was his shirt collar. Harris, again, he's looking for the step, but this time, finally, the defence are aware of the threat he poses. Dave King made the tackle. He got the ball away, though. This is Farrell. 3 men in on Farrell, 4 men in on Farrell, 5 men in. Finally, they've made the tackle. Took 5 of them to stop him. He's worked all night. Long pass from Harris. Perhaps could have put Sheridan at the gap. Doesn't need to, because this is Morley. Well, Darren Simpson's done well to strip the ball there. Simpson did well. I mean, Morley could well have gone away there. Simpson realised the threat. Probably realised he couldn't pull the Great Britain forward down, and instead opted to strip the ball. Good bit of quick thinking. Dave King, well, he's a huge man, Dave King. Iestyn Harris isn't exactly a huge man, but he timed his tackle well and brought the big man to ground. Huddersfield still penned in their own half. Well, that brings them just over the halfway line, but it's the last tackle. There's a nice scoot there from the number 21, Ryan Hudson, the hooker. The kick came in. It's come down in a pair of Huddersfield hands, those of Dave Borton. He's managed to get the ball away to Danny Arnold. Referee Presley's giving the Giants another set of 6 tackles. Goulding at dummy half. Well, he's kicked. And that's a real waste of the set of 6. You could see what he was thinking. The Leeds defence were nowhere near stacked on the right. There's no one there. But the kick was too hard. And while Andy Cheatham were putting a good chase, it was far too long. And with 6 tackles to play with on the Leeds line, a real bad tactical error from Goulding, who doesn't normally make such mistakes in an attacking position. Marcella. Harris to Sheridan. Sheridan brings the ball back inside for Saint-Hilaire. He shook off one tackler. And he's away. Inside pass. It's Harris. Well, he just stepped on the inside, and that gave Paul Reilly just the second he needed to catch up and bring him down. They're lying all over here. Referee Presley's allowing them to play on. I think because Harris is lying on top of a trapped Huddersfield player on the ground, who was Bobby Goulding. This is McDermott. He's almost away. He's tripped and fallen, but there wasn't a Huddersfield man on him until Paul Reilly managed to catch up. Sheridan, Harris, still Harris, still Harris. It's a try, a simple try. He beat Darren Simpson on his own line. That's 40 points for Iestyn Harris. 4 tries, 12 goals. That'll be the easiest ones he's scored tonight. Really from 1 to 17 tonight, if we can call that with squad numbers Leeds have performed. Harris, just as well as anyone else, he's put that over. He's equalled the goal-scoring record, takes himself to 42 for the evening. He's definitely broken the points record in a match for Leeds, we believe. And Huddersfield look disconsolate as they're walking back slowly to the halfway line to restart. They've got another 3 minutes to play. The Huddersfield fans in the crowd have already departed. And they don't look happy. Well, my picks on the Leeds team tonight, I think Martin Marcella in his second game back has really worked hard. Golden, quiet game, but on attack, but really worked hard in defence. Harris, of course, with the 42 points. has been crucial. But everybody really in this team's worked hard, and Andy Speak, I think, would be my man of the match on debut. Phil, who would be your pick from the Leeds team?
It's almost impossible to say, except for the fact that anybody that scores 42 points really has to be the man of the match. We've had 3 tries from Sterling, 3 from St Hilaire, 4 from Harris. You take your pick, they've all been outstanding, but because of the records that he's broken tonight, because of the fact that he is the best player in Super League at the moment, you'd have to give it to Iestyn Harris.
Probably a fair judgment in the end. Harris, as usual, has shown his complete genius. His tries have all come from his own work. And there he is, kicking downfield. Darren Simpson might not know it, but there's a chaser bearing down on him in the shape of Andy Hay and of Paul Sterling. Sterling is who makes the tackle. We've got a minute to play. The score standing 86-6. And Leeds, they can relax safe in the knowledge that they've played total rugby league today. 100% effort. They've conceded just the 1 try from Andy Cheetham, which was goal by Bobby Goulding. But apart from that, they've been in complete dominance of this Huddersfield side, and they really are the form team of Super League at present. It will be 13 games unbeaten for the Rhinos. We're in stoppage time now, and the Leeds fans completely behind their team. Dave Bolton making a half break for Huddersfield, but really it won't come to much. And there goes the hooter. The final score at Headingley is the Leeds Rhinos 86, the Huddersfield Giants 6. Super League records broken all over the park, none more so than Iestyn Harris, 42 points to his name, 2 hat-tricks elsewhere in the Leeds side. It's a record Super League score. We'll leave you at Headingley with the scoreline reading: Leeds Rhinos 86, Huddersfield Giants 6.
It's quite a memorable game for you personally.
Yeah, it's always nice to beat records in rugby league, and you know I've probably got I think it's the most points in Super League now. Yeah, it's nice to beat records, but it's a good win for Leeds, and you know I won't be thinking much further than that.
I was just talking to a couple of your teammates. They can't believe you got man of the match.
I know, I was lucky.
I mean, I suppose the big question is how good were Leeds and how bad were Huddersfield really?
Obviously Leeds played well, and that's probably one of our best performances of the season. You know, you can only play as well as your opposition allows you, and you know, Huddersfield, although they were very under par and probably a very poor performance, probably the worst performance from them in Super League, you know, all credit to us for putting 86 points on the board, and you know, we'll take all the pats on the back this week, and we'll go into a good game on Friday night with St Helens. I
suppose you sent out a warning to the other teams, really.
Yeah, a little bit. Obviously, they'll have one look at that and think, oh well, it was all one-sided, which it was. But I don't think many sides, the top sides, will take too much out of that, because obviously Huddersfield were very, very poor, and you know, we played well, but it won't be the same next week against St Helens.
But it extends your unbeaten run.
Yeah, it does. It's always nice to get an unbeaten run. I think we're on 14-15 wins now. Oh, unbeaten, sorry, we had a draw against Castleford. But we won't be thinking of that. We're thinking week to week, and like I said, next week we've got St Helens, and we'll be thinking there, and hopefully we can extend it 1 week more.
I was going to say, at what stage did you think there might be a record on here?
Well, we didn't actually know until it actually come across the tannoy. I think it was 2 points off the record, and that's when we all realised it was a record. So perhaps that spurs on just a little bit to get a few more points, and we did that, and we get a great record.
What about you or your record, though? When did you think, well, I've got a chance of beating this?
I didn't really. I just carried on playing, and you know, I kept crossing over the tries every now and again, and everyone was scoring the points next to the post, so you know, made the kicks really easy for me. So yeah, it was nice to get a record, and I think I beat Lewis Jones, who's you know, I've got a lot of admiration for at Leeds, and you know, it's always great to beat records, and to beat somebody like his, it's fantastic.
Everyone was like powering over from 5 and 10 yards. Your tries were a little bit different.
I was shattered. I kept finding myself in the clear. I don't know why. No, it's always nice to score some good tries, and you know, I got a couple of good ones and a couple of short range ones. But like I said, I won't take too much out of that game, because the opposition weren't too good.
Brilliant. Okay, Mr. Harris has got champagne. What will you be drinking tonight?
I'll have a few beers tonight, but you know, it was a tremendous win, and he's a tremendous player. He deserves the champagne, I promise you.
I was going to say, I suppose the big question is, how good were you tonight?
Yeah, I think we were very good. I mean, poor old Huddersfield, nothing went right for them, and they tried a few things, but we were white hot. And you know, sometimes it's good for a coach to sit back and just have a relax for the evening, and that's what I did. Unfortunately, I don't like to see that happen to another team.
I mean, how are you sort of at your peak? Are you playing as well as you have all season?
I think the last couple of weeks we were a bit untidy, but tonight we were right at the top of our game. We've got a few blokes here. Our squad mentality is going good, and we've got using blokes at different times, and you know, fellas like Morley off the bench. It's pretty potent at the moment, and they're going very good.
I say also extends your unbeaten run.
Yeah, it does, and you know, somewhere down the track you get beaten or you get tested, but we certainly didn't get tested tonight. But different game next week. We've got St Helens, and you know, back here at Headingley will be great.
I see like it's almost like football. 3 or 4 teams are beginning to pull away from everyone else.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I'd throw 5 in there, you know, and you know, Gateshead's a chance, but Cass is certainly up there with us, and you know, but you know, we've maintained our second spot, which we wanted to do.
You're still playing catch up, aren't you, a little bit?
Yeah, well, I suppose we are, but you know, that was all a legacy of the Wembley, but I'll still take the Wembley and play catch-up. So we're going all right. We're running second and we're just creeping up on people.
Where do you think the strength of your team is at the moment?
I think it's the spirit of the place, and the whole place is going very good. And I think, you know, we've got talented footballers, everyone knows that, but it's a real good club at the moment. It's a great attitude.